Welcome back, coders. Oh man, I am beyond excited to kick off part 24 of our 100-part CPC exam series. Today, we are diving deep into a real game changer, our CPT Modifiers Masterclass. Now, before we unlock the secrets to perfect coding, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Decode Healthcare with Harshal. All right, let's jump right in.
So take a look at the manual cover we've got on screen. This is basically the ultimate resource for medical billing, coding, and RCM specialists. And nestled right inside its pages is literally one of the most critical topics you're going to face, both on the exam and out there in the real world. We're talking about modifiers. These little codes, they are the absolute ultimate gatekeepers. They stand between a beautifully paid claim and a catastrophic denial, making absolutely sure you get accurate reimbursement for the work that was actually performed.
So what exactly are they? Well, think of a CPT modifier kind of like an adjective in a sentence. It's just a two-digit code that you append to your CPT or HCPCS codes, and it tells the payer, hey, this service had some altered or specific circumstances, but, and this is absolutely crucial, it never ever changes the core definition of that underlying service. It just adds a little extra clarity.
Okay, here's our masterclass agenda for today. We'll go over the intro and basics, move on to EM and surgical modifiers, hit the pro versus tech splits, tackle volume and execution, dive into unbundling services, and then finish up with a summary cheat sheet.
Section 2, EM and surgical modifiers. We're going to be navigating modifiers 25 and 57 here.
Now, there is a hard line between these two, so pay close attention. Modifier 25 is strictly used for a significant, separately identifiable E&M service on the exact same day as a minor procedure. And by minor, I mean a 0 or 10-day global period. Modifier 57, on the flip side, is for an E&M visit that actually results in the decision for a major 90-day surgery within 24 to 48 hours. Completely different scenarios, right?
But let's drill down into modifier 25 for a second, because you really need to be warned about this one. It carries a massive audit risk. It absolutely must be a significantly separately identifiable service. That means you need distinct documentation way beyond just your routine pre- or post-op care. Actually, RAC audits frequently target this exact modifier for unbundling. So your proof of medical necessity, it needs to be totally bulletproof.
Moving on to Section 3, Pro versus Tech Splits. That brings us to modifiers 26 and TC.
This bucket is super essential when procedures, especially stuff in radiology and pathology, get split into two distinct billable parts. When we split a procedure like that, who bills for what? Well, look at the table we have here. The professional component uses modifier 26. That is for the physician's brain work, the interpretation, the supervision, and writing up the formal report. The technical component uses modifier TC. That covers the facility side of things, the equipment usage, overhead, and the technologist services. It's a clean split.
All right, Section 4 is volume and execution. We're looking at modifiers 22, 50, and 51.
150%. That is a number you absolutely should commit to memory right now for modifier 50. Why? Because modifier 50 is used for bilateral procedures performed on mirror image anatomy during the exact same session, and appending it often yields a 150% reimbursement rate. Not too shabby, right? Then we have modifier 51, which is for multiple procedures. This one is used for secondary or lesser procedures performed in the same session, which triggers standard discounting rules. But here is a massive exam tip for you. You must never, ever append modifier 51 to add-on codes. Seriously, don't do it. Rounding out this bucket is modifier 22 for increased procedural services. You only pull this one out when a procedure requires substantial additional effort. You absolutely must have extensive documentation, like a highly detailed operative report, proving that extra time and complexity to the payers. Otherwise, they're just not going to buy it. Okay, Section 5, Unbundling Services and the NCCI Edit Bypass.
This right here is where compliance risks go completely through the roof, both on the exam and in real-world coding. As you can see from the quote, modifier 59 is the modifier of last resort. It is a massive compliance risk. You should only ever use 59 to unbundle distinct NCCI edit pairs when absolutely no other specific modifier applies. Literally, your last resort.
Because of that high risk, CMS actually prefers the highly specific X modifiers you see in this breakdown. We have XE for a separate encounter on the exact same day, XS for a separate structure like a different organ or compartment, XP for a separate practitioner, and XU for an unusual non-overlapping service. The reason these are preferred is because they force the coder to specifically identify exactly why the service is distinct rather than just using a generic catch-all.
And finally, Section 6, the summary cheat sheet. This is your one-page exam blueprint.
We've covered a lot of crucial ground today, so let's lock it all in right before you take your CPC exam. Here is your rapid review blueprint. EM and surgical gives us 25 and 57, component splits are 26 and TC, procedural volume is handled by 22, 50, and 51, and unbundling uses 59 or those specific X modifiers. I highly encourage you to pause the explainer right now and just take a quick screenshot of this table.
So what should you really take away from all this? Modifiers are a double-edged sword. They are your best friend for getting accurate reimbursement, but they can be your absolute worst enemy in an audit if your documentation is lacking. Always code the truth. So, are you ready for the next step? Because in Part 25, we are tackling evaluation and management coding principles, MDM levels, and time-based rules. It's going to be great. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Decode Healthcare with Harshal. Keep studying hard, and I will see you in the next explainer.